Hello guys, and welcome back to production notes for Dance Mums season 4 episode 28. I want to say I feel like we're getting quite far into it now. We're almost at the end of season 4 for the production notes. We've already finished the reactions, so we will be moving on to season 5 for that very shortly. But for now, we've still got to catch up with season 4 production notes. So hope you guys enjoy. We're going to get in. I have 17 different things to talk to you about. So let's get going, shall we? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is some team issues. We've got a lot of interesting mixing and matching with who's coming onto the team, who's going off of the team, and let's just say they're going to have a little conversation about it. Abby and Gianna sit at the front desk and chat about the upcoming week. The group dance this week requires 7 dancers. Abby would invite Peyton on the team, but her age would bring them up to the teen division. It seems Abby's only other option is Sarah H, but with her comes Christi. The mums enter, and it's clear the tension from the blowout fight over the weekend is still high as they walk past without saying a word. This week's special guests arrive, Tracy and Sarah Reasons. Tracy gushes over how happy they are to be back at the ALDC. Abby fills them in on the falling out she had this weekend with the mums. So there you have it. They are going to be bringing on random new people because they've decided to do a 7 dwarves dance. And I mean, the dance wasn't that good in the first place, so I don't know why they even bothered bringing in new people for this. But obviously they've only got 5 people on the team. They've also got Sarah R. So do they bring in Sarah H? Do they move up into the teen category by putting in Peyton? Or do they just go for a random person that nobody's ever seen on screen before? I think they're going to go for that third option, don't you think? Either way, it's just ridiculous. I think we need to start choreographing dances for the number of dancers that we have, rather than an imaginary number that we might not be able to fill. But either way, is what it is. Let's move on. So if you'll remember correctly, in the last episode, there was that massive blow up between Holly and Abby in which Abby said some absolutely disgusting things, and Holly talks to the mums about conflict resolution before they go into Pyramid, and I have to say, she was quite successful with it. The girls get stretched out and ready for dance as the mums chat about the explosion that happened on Saturday. Tracy and Sarah join everyone in the den. Tracy is greeted by a snarky comment from Christi. Look at you, your hair is all done. Trying to lose that Frumpelstiltskin look? The mums try and quickly catch Tracy and Sarah up on what's been happening at the ALDC since they've been gone. On the heels of Saturday, Holly thinks it's best that the mums head into the studio first without the girls. The mums have some issues they need to resolve with Abby, and Holly predicts it could get volatile. Obviously, we saw the mums just come in straight away. We didn't get to see all of this preamble, this sort of planning to go in there, confront Abby and have this conversation with her, but I appreciated it. Sometimes it just takes that one person to be like, you know what? No. Let's go in there first, let's leave the girls out here, and let's have a genuine, honest conversation without the girls being in there worried about what's being said. I think that's great. I think this is why Holly is one of the most rational people on the show, and this is why she gets the most respect from me most of the time. So one thing that didn't get shown on the actual episode was the fact that the pyramid looked a lot different to how it ended up in the actual episode. If you remember in the last episode, Playing with Fire was cancelled. We didn't get to see it on the show. They did it on stage, but it didn't get marked, so therefore there was no judging for it. And therefore, let's just say Abby had a very unique way of presenting this unique situation. All the screaming ceases for a minute, which gives the mums a moment to realise that there is only one photo on the pyramid. The mums all rally, including Melissa, and demand the photos of the other girls so they can add them to the pyramid. It's terrible to just have Maddie up there. This is a team. All the girls worked their asses off last week. They deserve to be up there too. They refuse to allow the girls to walk in and see this. Jill points out that not only will this hurt their girls, but it will hurt Maddie too, and it's just not right. Maddie is the only one who danced. They worked so hard and they had no control over you pulling their number. The mums get the photos and pin them all on the mirror in a straight line so everyone is equal. Abby has had enough. They only have 2 more days to rehearse before they compete, and the girls have to get in here and get to work. So that kind of explains why all the girls were in a straight line for that pyramid. The fact that Maddie was up there on her own just because she was the only one that danced was a little bit ridiculous, purely because, yeah, she does deserve probably to be on top because, yeah, she did well in her solo. But that doesn't mean the other girls should not be on the pyramid at all. I mean, the least you could do is just put them on the layer below and be like, none of you danced, or none of you actually got judged, so I'm not giving you any higher than this. But to not include them at all, that's kind of crazy, I can't lie. So one thing that we never actually got to see was Abby giving the girls their dwarf names. And yeah, you might have already worked it out. They are all digs, and they're all very personalised digs as well. So let's have a look at what she decided to call all of them. Abby assigns each girl a trait to convey in the dance similar to the 7 dwarves. Nia, sassy. Kendall, slouchy. Sarah, stretchy. Kenzie, silly. Maddie, snobby. Maddie reacts to her name. What? I'm not snobby. Abby reveals that she hasn't come up with a name for Chloe yet. Abby jokes around that she also has names pinned for their mothers, but she's not sure they're appropriate to share with the girls. Abby reminds the girls, Abby Lee Dance Company is not the happiest place on earth, and it never will be. Just like those theme parks, you see more kids crying per square foot than any other place. I mean, to be fair, me personally, Disneyland is not the happiest place on earth. I've had more miserable days at Disney than I've had good days at Disney. I remember one time when I was in the LA park, we were there for 13 hours, my feet were dying, and we ended up queuing for the Cars ride for 2.5 hours until they told us, nah, sorry, it's broken. No rides today. Huh? What do you mean? What, huh? Yeah, I was fuming. Anyway, moving past that, the names for the girls, I mean, do we expect anything less than nasty from Abby? Snobby is a crazy one for Maddie. I don't know where that's come from. And slouchy for Kendall is... it's both hysterical but also very, very mean. The other names, I think they're fine. Silly, sassy, stretchy, like, they're good. Could have been, like, called sucky or something like that. You're awful, like, I don't know, something like that. Why do they all have to start with S? The 7 dwarves don't all start with S. It's a very interesting way of denoting the names, don't you think? So, with all of the craziness that is currently going on at the ALDC, it's only natural that Tracy would be looking around at the dumpster fire in front of her and going, huh, do I actually want to be here? Is this somewhere that I want to keep my daughter? And is this somewhere that I want my daughter to be involved with? Yeah, she's starting to question it. The mums discussed the insane pyramid today. Tracy is shocked about how volatile it got, and the mums go into detail about the incident that happened at the competition last Saturday. Holly gives Tracy a rundown of the experiment they conducted with the whiteboard. The results were in black and white, and that made Abby uncomfortable. This makes Tracy question whether or not Sarah being here is the right choice. I personally feel like anybody who comes onto the show after Jill, and even Jill, you can have an argument about it. I believe that they're here for TV time more than they are for their daughter's dance training, because I refuse to believe that Abby is the best dance trainer in the country. I refuse to believe it. And of all the places to come, I would not take my child to the ALDC. If I really wanted amazing dance teachers, I would go to LA. I would go to New York. I would go to somewhere where they quite literally make it apparent that they have good dance teachers. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Abby Lee Dance Studio. I don't know. If I was watching the show, I don't think she's a particularly good teacher in terms of like the way she teaches. Not in terms of like the dancers that she produces, but in terms of the way she teaches, I wouldn't want that for my child. So I feel like Tracy having these whole, oh, I don't know whether this is right for my daughter. You don't necessarily care about that as your primary motivation. You're here for TV time. And I hate to be cynical like that, but that's just how I feel. So we don't get to see the rehearsals very often for the girls. We don't get to see a lot from them. And when they're detailed in the production notes, they're kind of boring. They're kind of what we see on the show. They're like boring bits. But this was very interesting that I found from Kendall's rehearsal. So let's have a look. Kendall's rehearsal runs smoothly and Abby has little corrections to give. When Kendall leaves the room, Abby turns to Gianna and says, "If that kid wins, I hope she knows it isn't here. It's the choreography, the music, and the costume." So she's just finished dancing. Abby's got no notes to give. And then Kendall's like, "Yay, thanks, Abby. I've just had an amazing rehearsal with you. Yay, woohoo." And then she leaves the room and you turn to Gianna and say, "Yeah, the reason if she wins is not because of actually her. It's because, yeah, the dancing that I choreographed, the costume that somebody else made, and I don't know, the lighting, the shoes that she's wearing, just anything but Kendall is the reason why she won this dance." That is insane to say, in my opinion. That's absolutely insane and so unbelievably rude. But then again, do we expect anything less from Abby? Not particularly. So, in the spirit of the week, the mums decided to give themselves some nicknames, and I have to say, some of them were actually quite funny. Some of them didn't make sense, but on the whole, they were entertaining. The mums decided to give Christi a ring and fill her in on rehearsal. She is shocked to hear that Kaylee was invited to come dance with the team, and even more shocked that Abby threatened replacing Chloe in the group. The mums all joke about the nicknames Abby gave the girls and make up their own nicknames. Holly is Smarty, Melissa is Sleazy, Jill is Sexy, and Christi is Sneaky. Christi gives the mums an update on Chloe before they jump off the call. I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't feel like Christi deserves the term sneaky. If anything, she's like the anti-sneak. She'll say it to your face 9 times out of 10. Or if she's confronted about it, she'll be like, "Yeah, I said that, cool." Whereas Melissa's the sneaky one. Let's be honest. Melissa's the sneaky snake, okay? Listen, she could be sleazy and sneaky. She deserves those 2 words at least. So another thing that I liked about the production notes was basically that they detailed a private lesson or a private rehearsal for the group that we didn't get to see, and it's a very hotly debated topic about whether they get ballet lessons or not, and here's the proof. They at least got one. All the girls had a ballet private at the top of the day. We have B-roll of the private so we can play it before or after regular rehearsal. The top half of the rehearsal is shot with Kaylee, the bottom half is just the original girls plus Sarah R. So that was something that I found quite interesting. I like the fact that the production notes give you an insight into ideas for how to edit the episode, B-roll ideas, play this after this scene. It's interesting to read those kind of things because that's the kind of thing that goes into actually making the episode, and it's something that most people watching will never fully appreciate. So it's nice to see those little tidbits to just really give us an idea about what's happening. But the ballet private for all the girls, I mean, listen, there have been many conversations about how the girls should not be doing ballet numbers because they have not had ballet training for years and years and years. And whilst they've had this one now, why have they had this one now? Do you know what I mean? What is the point of doing a random ballet rehearsal at a random point in the day in a random week when they're not doing ballet for their group number? Imagine if they'd have done this the week that they did Broken Dolls. That would have been a lot of help for the girls to really get it into their brains. Okay, this is how I ballet. So, one of the things that was interesting about this episode was the fact that Cathy ended up at the competition for a seemingly random reason, for literally no reason whatsoever. But we got a little bit of an insight in the production notes as to why she was here, because she called Christi for some unknown reason. Christi's phone rings and she answers. It's Cathy. Cathy calls to tell Christi that she will be in Orlando, Florida this weekend at the Dance Kids USA competition. Cathy digs information about the ALDC this week. Who has solos? Are there any guests on this week? Is Abby going to chicken out and pull the group number again? Although Christi is unwilling to divulge any ALDC secrets, Cathy still invites her to meet with her in Florida. On the heels of last week, maybe Cathy sees this as the perfect opportunity to poach Christi and Chloe. Now, we've seen a couple of times that Cathy actually really wants Chloe on her team. She really wants to nurture Chloe because she sees Chloe as a diamond in the rough, as somebody who is going to be incredibly talented, and she feels like she can nurture that, and Abby currently isn't. Obviously, I don't feel like she wants Christi on her team, but equally, I feel like Christi and Cathy have this dynamic where, yeah, they snipe at each other, but it never gets rude and nasty, as far as I remember. At least it never gets rude and nasty beyond like some roasts about what they're wearing, nose, grandma, things like that. It's just light roasting that I feel like is just entertainment purposes. So I feel like if Christi and Chloe were to go over there, obviously the backlash from Abby would be extreme, but I actually feel like Christi and Cathy would probably get on a lot better. So, something that I find really, really funny is when a new mum comes upstairs and they start grilling her and she makes all these bold claims, and then someone else is sat there to go, hey, hang on a minute, that's not true. Kate joins the mums in the viewing room and introduces herself. The mums don't wait a beat before they start berating her with questions. When the mums find out that she doesn't live far from Jade, they wonder if Kaylee and Jade have ever competed against each other. Kate gives a vague response, then proceeds to say that Kaylee is younger and they aren't always in the same age category. Tracy smells something fishy, so she gets Laurie on the phone. Laurie has a very different story than Kate. Apparently, the two have gone head to head several times, and each time Jade has come out victorious. Like I said, I love when they're in there and they're like, oh yeah, no, that's never happened. No, they're completely different age categories. No. That wouldn't work. No. And then someone's like, okay, bet, let me call her. Let me get it from the horse's mouth. Oh, your child's lost to Jade numerous times? Huh. Isn't that funny? Either way, it just goes to show that they will find a way to prove you wrong. Do not lie. Be honest. It's going to come back to bite you in the arse at the end of the day. And then you look like you can't be trusted. So, I don't know. What were you hoping for here, Kate? What were you hoping for? I don't understand why the new mums who come in, and I'm not talking about the select ensemble because they're here to cause drama, but they're also seemingly nice people with the exception of Dud Muffin. Other than that, I feel like everybody else is somewhat nice. Maybe not Tammy as well, but Tammy, I don't know, she fluctuates for me. But with Dud Muffin, I just don't like her. But when there's new mums that are only here for a week, why do you come in and cause so much chaos and drama? Is it because you want to stay on the TV show? Like, surely you should know that this is a one and done deal. You're here for 1 week. You got one chance, so they're going to do whatever they can. But sometimes it just does come across a little bit desperate. A fight ensues between Kate and Christi when Kate reminds her of the first time they met at the New York auditions with Kelly. Christi flies off the handle when Kate accuses her of having a bad attitude there after claiming Maddie and Mackenzie got special treatment when they attended the Orlando auditions. How dare Kate pass judgment like that when she has no knowledge of the situation? When Kate brings up Chloe's industry, Christi completely loses it and even threatens to call her attorney. I mean, listen, I feel like the one person you should not be starting on in that room is Christi, because Christi is going to defend herself and you are going to lose that battle. If you'd have started on Jill or Melissa, I feel like you'd have got an easier ride and you probably would have gotten away with it. But with Christi, she ain't going to stand for no bullshit. She ain't going to stand for no bitching and squealing and mat. She's not going to stand for any of that. She's going to bite back and she's going to bite back harder. So listen, you've seen the show. That's why you want to be here. So maybe you should take the advice of the people who came before you and not fuck around and find out with Christi. Tracy takes her turn to lay into Kate. She's furious that Kaylee is here dancing. This is Sarah's week. Kate and Tracy get into a heated argument and Tracy calls her a stalker. Tracy goes on and on about how her and Kate being here is really affecting her daughter's opportunity. Kate doesn't really seem to care. Abby wanted her and her daughter here for a reason. Holly puts her in her place. She wasn't the first call that Abby made. So first of all, we got Rumpelstiltskin Tracy being like, yo, why are you here? You're stealing my daughter's week. And to an extent, I understand the frustrations. Every other person has had at least a week where their child was the only select member team on the main team and they were the focus of the week. It's unfortunate that Tracy R's week has come in conjunction with Kate's week as well, even though Kate's not part of the select ensemble. Like, I do feel bad, but either way, it is what it is. You just got to get over it. But the best part of this whole section is the fact that Holly ended her by being like, hey, you weren't even the first call that Abby made. You weren't even the 5th call. You were the 20th call, okay? She had 19 kids stacked up before your child, and you just happened to be the only one available at short call. So, what does that tell you about you? What does that tell you? So, it wouldn't be a Dance Mums episode without the mums getting absolutely pissed drunk at a bar. So, you know what? Let's have a look at what happened, because it was very entertaining. Christi, Jill, Melissa and Holly get settled and chat about Tracy while they await her arrival. The mums give Kate and her lifeless personality a nickname, Cardboard Kate. They all make fun of her and laugh hysterically. The mums are a little confused about how comfortable Tracy is, much more so than any of the other select mums. She is all in a huff over this new girl waltzing in, and they think that she has forgotten that she is still the new girl. Just like Kaylee, Sarah is not a permanent fixture, and they assume Tracy is feeling threatened. I think that Tracy feels somewhat more comfortable purely because they've been here a lot longer. I mean, at this point, they've been on and off the team for about 6-7 episodes. Maybe more, actually, because they were here from episode 16, and now it's episode 28. But then some of those episodes weren't actual episodes. Anyway, you get what I mean. There's a lot of faffing about, fandangoing. Either way, I am here to tell you, Tracy, shut up. It's not your place to be taking it all out on Kate. I mean, yeah, you're both in contention for potentially a new spot on the team, but it isn't actually that deep at the end of the day. Christi is eager for Tracy to arrive. She wants to get some wine in her, so she will dish on Kira. Tracy joins the mums and they tell her about their new nickname for Kate, Cardboard Kate. Tracy thinks she has a better one, Temporary. Tracy is still up in arms over Abby bringing her in. What are her motives? Tracy really wants to know how she can secure her and Sarah's spot on the team. The mums have no answers for her, and if they did, what makes her think that they would share? To the mums, Tracy's just as much a guest as Cardboard Kate. Nationals is right around the corner, and the mums are only looking out for their girls, the original girls. Again, I love the front of Tracy to be like, so, tell me how I can get on the team. Obviously, they're not going to tell you. Obviously. Why would they? They've got no incentive to tell you. Absolutely no incentive whatsoever. So why would they? They're obviously not going to. So, shush. Quiet your mouth. Honestly, I do love the front of Rumpelstiltskin, but you know what it is? You just gotta do what you can at the end of the day. Your daughter's the one that's got to impress, and you just gotta play by the rules. That's all you gotta do at the end of the day. So this is where the production notes started to get a little bit confusing to read. The format of it got a little bit confusing, so I'm going to do my best to talk through it, but I have to say I didn't enjoy reading this part of the production notes because it wasn't as easily laid out, and the highlighting was all over the place. It just confused my brain and I didn't like it. But anyway, we're going to talk about Cathy and Brigitte as they were talking during Sarah's number. Gianna turns to Abby and gushes over how gorgeous she looks. Her confidence was outstanding. Bridget accuses Tracy of Sarah using an old routine, but Melissa steps in and promises she just learned it a few days ago. Did she do a solo at this competition? I don't remember. I actually don't remember. Oh, she was beaten by Nia and Kendall. Yes, I do remember this dance. Yes. I mean, listen, accusing her of doing an old number when we've watched her do it in rehearsals. But then again, could she have just been rehearsing it in rehearsals? I don't know. I feel like either way, it's just a ridiculous accusation to make. And the fact that Melissa is having to stand up for this girl when she's got no allegiance to her, is this just like a Candy Apples versus ALDC thing? Or is Melissa genuinely just like, nah, it's chill. She did just learn it last week. So I've just watched the reunion, right? And Abby accuses Cathy of talking through numbers, and Cathy accuses her right back and says, yo, you also teach theatre etiquette, and yet you talk through everybody's number. And at the time, I pointed out, oh yeah, she fell asleep during Ava's number according to the production notes, but apparently she talked through Lucas's number as well. Abby talks through Lucas's routine, which really upsets Cathy. That woman has no respect. I mean, it was a little bit of a short one for you guys, but you get my point. The fact that she is blatantly talking through a rehearsal, not even a rehearsal, a performance on stage, and then she has the cheek to say, I would never do that on the reunion. It's in black and white and purple. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about, bestie? So obviously we saw during the episode that Cathy and Bridget were not exactly the most respectful of Kendall during her performance, but there are a couple more interesting things that I wanted to pick out of this. Cathy and Bridget give Jill a lot of hell about Kendall doing the same solo and wearing the same costume as Maddie last week. It's a recycled solo and it didn't live up to Maddie's performance. Bridget thinks that Kendall wants to be Maddie just as much as Jill wants to be Melissa. First of all, I do kind of agree with Cathy and Bridget. Doing a recycled solo is a little bit of a piss take. I mean, it's a little bit of a, like, onto Kendall. The fact that, oh, you can't do your own number, you have to use a recycled one. Just because we hope you can do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just feels a little bit icky sticky to me. I liked it at the time, but looking back, making her do the solo that Maddie just won with and then berating her when she loses with it, it's just another form of psychological torture for her. However, the funniest thing was Bridget basically saying that as much as Kendall wants to be the new Maddie, Jill wants to be Melissa, which is absolutely hysterical to me. I've never really thought of it like that, but I think Jill does want to be Abby's favourite as much as Melissa does. So that's just an incredibly interesting thing to point out and a great perception. So yeah, Bridget, well done, I'm interested. So in the CADC dressing room, there is a little bit of fallout. We didn't get to see this on the show, but Lucas has some thoughts and, hey, he's being honest. Cathy congratulates Lucas on a job well done and gives him some critiques on his solo. Bridget is beaming with pride. He tore it up. Lucas is feeling confident as well. All that is on his mind at this point is nationals. Lucas noticed that Kendall did the exact same routine as Maddie did the previous week. All three agree that Maddie did it better. I mean, they're not wrong. Maddie did do it better, but equally that's only because you have something to compare it to. Do you know what I mean? If Kendall had just done this number and you weren't at the competition last week, you probably wouldn't be having these thoughts. You probably wouldn't be saying the same things. So I feel like it's only because you have that thing to compare it to. Do you see what I mean? It's like if you have a remake of a movie that's not as good as the original, but then the original didn't exist and you just had the remake. Would you hate the remake as much as you like the original? Like, I don't understand. It's an interesting thing to think about, but obviously this is just a hypothetical what if situation. We don't know. We don't know at this point. We don't know, guys. We don't know. So yeah, Lucas, big slay for your performance. That's about it. So our last point is a particularly contentious one. I mean, Abby doesn't exactly help herself sometimes. She does cause a lot of drama. And yeah, this one, I can understand how this one did not go down well. Abby wants to make sure that Kaylee looks like a part of the team. So she gives her an honorary ALDC jacket. Abby makes it clear this does not mean she is a permanent member. It's just so she fits in. The mums are all taken aback, especially Jill and Tracy. What did she do to deserve that? Kendall and I had to wait 6 months for a jacket. Well, what about Sarah? Does she get one too? All she has is a select team jacket. Kaylee gave up a lot to be here. Abby tries to justify her decision by saying that Kaylee has been taking classes at the ALDC for a while. She also didn't know Cathy was going to be here and they need to look like a team. Kaylee's been taking dance lessons at the ALDC. Since when? When did this happen? I don't remember this happening. I want a refund. What's going on here? Either way, I don't feel like this is particularly conducive to a helpful work environment when you're giving a random stray kid an ALDC jacket. And Jill's right. It took her 6 months to earn that jacket. It took her trials and tribulations. She had to do more work than Hercules had to do in his trials. And that's crazy. And I've just hit my ring light. So, you know what? I'm fuming about this. I'm not happy. But that is all we've got time for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. We'll be back in the next episode, whenever that may be. But damn, this was a dramatic episode. And I've had a great time watching it. So, if you guys have enjoyed, make sure to watch more of my Dance Moms videos. Watch more of my videos in general. There's plenty of YouTube series that I'm doing at the moment that you guys will enjoy. Survivor 49 is starting. Obviously, you guys don't care about Survivor, but I do. I have a very, 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 very good place in my heart for that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later. Keep on ranting. Bye now. See ya.